Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and today we're out in the front yard and we're making the final push to finish up my winter garden. Okay, so for the last 2 days, I ripped up everything that was in the front garden, and then I've started planting some containers and some Betty plants in one area. So let me show you what I've done so far. All right, so at this point, I am down to this section and then going around this curve. Now, we are expecting very cold weather in the next couple of weeks, and the dahlias are going to have to be lifted. I'm not ready to do all of them. I'm going to start with this red one right here today, and then I'll have a later video of lifting all my other dahlias because I have some that I'm going to be moving around. I do have some existing perennials here. I do have some rudbeckia here that I started from seed and never quite got to fruition. It's fine. We're going to be totally fine, in good shape. But I want to go ahead and finish up this area with the bedding plants. I think what we'll do is we'll start with this container right here first. So let's get it cleaned out. Okay, this dahlia right here is called Garden Wonder. I got the tuber in a pack from Costco, and I have been very happy with this variety. It is absolutely lovely. And as much as it hurts to do this, I do need to go ahead and pull this guy out. I'm going to go ahead, save a few of these blooms to enjoy. And dahlias will not make it through the winter very well in my area. So I have had some varieties over winter in directly into the ground, like in my native soil. But these that are in the containers, it will get way too cold and they will freeze. The tubers will freeze and rot. And this has been just such a joyful dahlia to have that I would like to grow it again next year. So we're going to save the tubers. And I'm going to pull this up now, but there will be a separate video. I've got a few more dahlia varieties that I need to pull up. There'll be a separate video showing how to store those. Look at that. Gorgeous. I'm going to go put these in water real quick. Okay, so I'm going to pull out some of the stuff I already have in here. Petunias. I had planted these up for fall, some ornamental peppers. I am going to leave this coneflower in there for now. And let me go ahead and pull the trellis out so I can see better in here. But let's see if we can just pull this whole tuber out. OMG. Y'all. Look at that. All right, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and just cut all the extra foliage, and I'm just going to put this aside until I start dealing with my dahlias potentially tomorrow. That was pretty awesome. Also going to see if I can prop this up a little better. All right. I'm tempted to pull this coneflower because I don't really know what to do with it. It doesn't go with the color scheme, but I don't really know where to put it in my garden right now. So the best thing to do is just leave it here. Hopefully it will overwinter and come back in this container. And I do have drip irrigation set to this container. Let's go ahead and add some fertilizer, and then we'll arrange some plants in here. Adding a little biotone. All right, I do have 3 purple alyssum to start off with. I do think I'm going to try to rotate this container. Oh, let's see what we got going on. Ugh. rotate this container to put the coneflower towards the back. And we'll go ahead and pop these alyssum into the front and let them cascade over the side. This is the first year in a long time I've really done a lot of alyssum. I don't typically do it. I do love, I just don't think of it, I think really is the issue, because I really do love its look. Very cottagey and soft, fairy tale-esque. Okay, and then I think I'm going to put some of these Cornet Dianthus. Cornet Dianthus, white with purple eyes. I think we're going to pop these in here too. Dianthus does great in my area and acts as a perennial. And when I saw these at Lowe's, I was obsessed with them. I think they're so pretty. And they kind of were the jumping off point for all of my design for winter. And that's about it for that container. I'm keeping a lot of my containers real simple for winter this year. Okay, so we've got that little container planted. Now with that being said, I've got blank area here, and then I have this all the way around the corner here. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of trimming over here. I've got a rock rose that's pretty intense. These are all dahlias over here that are actually gonna get dug up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim these back a little bit just so I can better see my space and understand what I wanna do here. Because as soon as we get that hard freeze that's coming, this rock rose will go to bed. It will be done for the season. So I think going ahead and cutting it now is fine. I'm not gonna cut it, all of it. I'm just cutting the front half of it so I can better see where I have room for winter annuals. And see how that opens up this whole front area. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply my biotone fertilizer through all of the areas that I'm going to be planting. And I find this approach way better than trying to put a little handful inside of every hole. Okay, and these Cornet Dianthus are going to be one of my main features. I was thinking I was going to put them all right here and then do all penny blue viola. I actually think I want to work these Dianthus into this little area right here and then put penny blue violas on either side. Now, I love to lay out my plants first before planting because it just gives me a better idea of what everything's going to end up looking like. And I think it leads to a better design in the end for myself and my garden. I'm trying to debate if I want to pull up these Rudbeckia or just leave them for now. I'll probably just leave them. Sometimes Rudbeckia will come back for me the next year. And I think these make a really pretty statement here. Those are great. So now I think I'm going to I have a little bit of Dusty Miller that I think I'm going to tuck back here. So let's do that. And I love Dusty Miller in the garden. I think it just brings a certain amount of lightness and contrast to the space. I'm putting these about 6 to 8 inches apart. Is that what I want? Yeah, just like that. Okay, and then finally, I have the penny blue violas. And these are my absolute favorite. These actually get pretty big. These get to 8 to 10 inches tall. They're small right now. I like to put them about 6 to 8 inches apart. And I like to stagger them because these will turn into a carpet of blue, which is so beautiful, especially in the spring. These will come back like bonkers in the spring. So you can imagine this beautiful blue, penny blue color. And I have tons of daffodils right here that will come up right through it, which I think would be wonderful, beautiful. And then I think I'm going to come to the other side of the Dianthus and do more. Now this guy right here is a fireplace screen that I bought at the thrift store. And I bought it for, I think, like 10 bucks. It's been great. I typically have my hardy hibiscus behind it that's massive. And it did a great job supporting that as it got larger. Okay, just for reference, this is what we did over here. We started with the containers, very simple, purples, whites, a little bit of that cornet dianthus. Then we added in a ton of this Delta Classic shades of pink pansies with some more alyssum across here. And then, why are these bags always in my yard? And then over here, we have a background of Dusty Miller, which ties back into this direction over there. And then we've got our penny blue violas coming across, touch of alyssum and dianthus, switching to dianthus, and then finally to penny blue violas. I think it's going to look really good. Let me stand back here. It's going to be great. All right, let's start planting. All right. I'm so excited. This is the last of my planting for my front garden. So this area right here has a lot of daffodils. So bedding plants work really great because they're only about 3 to 4 inches deep. And it allows me to come in here, dig carefully without damaging the daffodil bulbs that are typically at about 6 inches deep. Now this particular area with daffodil bulbs, I felt like it's not been blooming as much the last year. And I'm wondering if it's because it's time to divide them out a little bit. But you can tell I'm not ready to do that at this point. When I would do that would most likely be in the spring after they finished blooming and the foliage started dying back. That's when I would come through and divide them because I could pull them all up, like I would know where they were. They'd already got all the nutrients they would need because they'd be going dormant now for the summer. And I could pull them all up, store them until the winter. And I think that that would work really, really well. But I cannot wait to see these penny blue violas with the bright yellow daffodils coming through. It should be lovely. I did want to ask, what holiday shows are you all watching? I am currently obsessed with Holiday Baking Championships. I'm watching all the seasons. I freaking love it. I love the season where Steven, the home baker, wins. If you know, you know. I would love some suggestions for holiday shows to watch. Something that's easy and simple to watch. I don't really want to watch sad stuff. I want something that's kind and sweet and enthusiastic. People just enjoying the holidays, which the Holiday Baking Championship is so fun. I cannot bake if my life depended on it, but I love watching it. And I have no intention of baking. I just enjoy watching the show. So these dianthus are really what set off the whole color scheme for me for winter. I saw these at Lowe's, and I'll put up a video when I saw them. And literally I started looking at them, and I was sitting there for a few minutes just staring at them, and this one lady walked up and started asking about Dianthus, and then another lady ended up coming up asking about the Dianthus. And when it was all said and done, between the three of us, we walked out with all of the rest of these Dianthus that they had there at Lowe's, because they were so beautiful. And I just typically see Dianthus with like smaller blooms, and these are just such large blooms. So, which was very different and very cool. Just reminiscing of when I first moved to this house and started working on this garden, how much clay it was, and how planting bedding plants for the first time was so incredibly difficult because of the clay. And now look at me, just being able to just dig right in. There's still clay in here. Clay's not bad soil. Clay has tons of nutrients. It can be really great. It can just get waterlogged, which makes it difficult to grow a number of plants. So over the years, just adding different mulch and compost and shale to this garden has just really built it up beautifully. And I think that's what I do a lot of in the garden. I reminisce. I think I don't really listen to music or podcasts. I'd like to, but I only have my cell phone to do that kind of stuff with, and I use it to film. But even so, just like listening to the sounds of my neighborhood, and I just think, and sometimes that's just really lovely. And I love reminiscing how far my garden has come, and of course, how far I've come as a gardener. All right, and we're done. So I've got my little river of penny blue violas across here, shifting into the cornet Dianthus, a little container with the Dianthus and the alyssum, back to the penny blue violas plus the Dusty Miller, and of course then this whole side that we've already completed. This side is way fuller because this is where we walk up, so I want to see it nice and full and lovely. I'm really happy with the full effect. Okay, real quick before I water in, I have this blank area back here for some Christmas decor that I had made a few years ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. Okay, a few years ago, I made these. It started with finding just these already ready to go at Walmart, and they were like $20 a piece. Just felt like a lot. So I was like, can I make these? So I ended up using tomato or stakes, like these plastic green stakes, and finding ornaments myself and then making them myself, which has been great. Oh, let's see if I can get this to go right though. And I was able to make them for half the price. If you're interested, I will put the link in the video description below if you would like to make these yourself. The deal is, you can't really push from the top. You have to push from the bottom down here. And I literally just use hot glue, y'all. And it's worked out great. Truthfully, I'd love to make some more.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear.
Okay, I'm gonna water everything in. All right, that is a wrap. That is a wrap on the front garden for the winter. This is the only garden that I work on aesthetically for the winter. The rest of the garden, I just let it go to sleep. I don't typically go add plants for winter color, anything like that. Mainly focus on this area because this is the area that my family and I and my neighbors see on a daily basis. And I don't have the money to do all of my gardens. So I like to concentrate it all in one area. So just really have a big burst of color during the winter. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I want to say again, let me know if there's a cool show you're watching for the holidays, something happy, fun. Like I said, I'm currently obsessed with holiday baking championship, really into that. So let me know if there's some other ones as well. Comment below. And if you're like me and you are on a gardening journey and you would like to do that with some friends, check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It is just a bunch of people who really enjoy gardening. So I really enjoyed it. I actually had a live the other day where it ended up just being me and Mandy, one of my patrons. We had a great time chatting. We ended up chatting about books and gardening and hydroponic and all this kind of stuff. It was so fun. Really enjoyed that. So shout out to Mandy. You made my day. That was great. But if you also want to check that out, you're more than welcome to click that link in the video description and see what my Patreon community is all about. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.